Hello everybody and welcome back to Julie's Jewels, Road to Rio. This is, I'm Mike Turner. I'm sitting with Julie Jules herself. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. Tonight we were talking with one of your clients. You coach this guy, Tony Klink. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
So you coach him?
I do. That's why he's here. But he's also running Rio, and we thought it would be really helpful and valuable to hear from Tony, who's run Rio before, but also other 100-milers, and kind of weave in his experience of doing these. And he knows what it's like to be a first-timer, obviously, because he has that experience as well.
Mm-hmm. So this is your third time doing Rio?
Yeah, this will be the third time.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So why did you choose to do Rio again this year? Because you already have you've done another 100-miler earlier in the year. So why choose this? You know what?
There's just something about this run. I really, I'm from Auburn, so I really enjoy the culture of the run. I love the fact that every aid station has people that I know have done, immense runs, and just all the experience. Really, it's about the culture, and I like the scenery's good too, like running out from my house, and I don't know, it's just rad.
Yeah, it is one of those races where everybody, every aid station is hosted by a local race club or a sponsor. Everybody that is involved in our whole community, it's like Facebook, but in real life. Yeah. Everybody's there. And it's I love those races like that where it's like, you just run it and just you're having a good time with your friends are out there, and the hype is just so alive.
Yeah, and I think too, even if you, even when I first started doing hundreds, not knowing those people, they know what you need, and that they bring that culture, and you feel it when you roll into like Rattlesnake, and there's all the hustle and bustle, and they've got all the food laid out, and they're asking you questions, and it's just there's definitely something about it that's.
It's funny when somebody tells you, like, somebody helps you out, you're new, and you go on your way, and someone says, "Do you know who that was?" You're like, "No," and it's like, "Oh, it was like somebody famous." Like, what? And they grab my dirty socks, whatever, and like there's somebody famous, or like, what? No, you don't even know. Yeah. Like, you're right, people out there that are legends in our community that are helping you out. It's super cool.
Yeah. The volunteers are awesome. We are so lucky and privileged. We have some of the nicest people out there on course, and so we're happy to have you meet them. But so tell us, back to the bus here. First Rio.
First Rio.
It was in 2020. 22.
Yeah. So I had done 100 before. Similar, it was javelina, so it was runnable. Came into this one, did the best I could with the training. I kind of stole some stuff from my wife, who also does ultras, and did the best I could do there. And it definitely got difficult, and I did exactly what everybody says not to do. I went out hot, got sucked into the vibe in the first part, and I'm rolling, and everything was going great. And I think I did really well until I got to Overlook. And then I, rolled down the hill, got to no hands, and I still felt okay. And then as soon as Quarry Road hit, everything hit. My hydration was not good. I didn't eat enough in the beginning, and didn't know myself. First of all, I didn't really know enough about nutrition in general, and just winged it. And that's where I really started paying the price. And it got difficult to run on the flats, and then of course the demons are coming at you at that point. Oh, you suck, this is a flat road, you should be at least running this part. And then it's just, so I'm fighting all that stuff off. Then it starts getting dark, and and if you've been back there, it's like rolling, and you should just be able to cruise it, right?
Yeah.
If I would have saved myself, I would have been cruising it.
So that's why we talked about in the Road to Rio, the early series. We talked about the mile 0 or 0 to mile 44. It's on YouTube. You can find that. We're talking about the race course. I mentioned hitting every aid station, eating something, never skipping, because mile 45 to 50, you're in a hype. Everyone's out there. You're feeling great. You skip. Next thing you know, you have nothing in the tank.
Yeah, it definitely got dark, and then literally got dark, and it got dark in my mind. But I think knowing that I was going to finish no matter what, I think that having that mindset, and that I'm just going to gun it and keep going and do the best that I can, that's things would change. And that's one of the races too, where I started to discover the longer that I ran, and I would go through those caves of discomfort, and my mind would be talking to me. You had spoke about it earlier, where 10 miles later it's totally different. And everything's great. You know, you get some hydration, you eat something at the aid station, and then things start to return. But I've also had the runs too where it definitely didn't return because I didn't keep eating. So
yeah, well, you can just like slow down and walk. If you're at mile 40, 50, you have time.
Yeah.
You can slow down, right, and walk for a couple miles.
Yep.
Just to get your body caught back up again. I mean, you probably won't ever walk, Julie, because you're so fast.
No.
Yeah.
Oh. Visit my YouTube on Badwater this year, and there was a lot of walking in that one. So
That's awesome.
I do that too.
We all get there.
Yeah.
Just trying to get your body caught up. Also, walking allows your body to just digest, process food, reabsorb nutrients. I have a thing where if I go too hard, I lose electrolytes, and then I have trouble reabsorbing those. So just take it easy for a little bit. If you're not feeling well, you can walk it off, and you'll get back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's why. So your first one, and that you finished. You felt. I mean, it was pretty good.
Yeah. The first one I did fairly well. It was difficult. My feet weren't ready for 100 miles, and I blistered up really bad. The second one, which was my first Rio, my feet hung together, and it was good. And I stayed with the Ultras, the trail shoe, the whole time. The second time I did it, I used their road shoe for the first part, and then swapped them out at Beals.
Okay.
I don't know if it made a difference or not, but I thought, hey, you know, I've got these road shoes. I'll try them for the first part. It's mostly pavement and easy stuff. So I did it both ways, and it didn't really seem to change anything.
What was the cause of your feet problem? Was it a wet day? Was it a dry day?
At Javelina, it was dry. I think a lot of it was the rocks.
Yeah.
You know, the terrain was totally different, and I didn't take care of my feet. You know, like weeks before 100 for me, I'll use that cream and make my feet soft because they're dry. So.
I've heard people do things like that. I don't never done it, but a couple weeks in advance, they start doing processes on the feet to kind of get them ready to go.
Yeah.
Okay, so by Rio, this one your feet worked out pretty well, huh?
Yeah, totally. Everything worked out all right.
And this is your third.
This is number 3, yeah. Last year was number 2, which was another experiment. So
Tony, tell us about your experiment. I mean, everybody wants to hear.
This is my experiment. So I also do CrossFit, and I thought, you know, I'm gonna see if I can, you know, do a 100-miler by doing just CrossFit. The 2 months before Rio, I logged 20-ish miles total for the 2 months. I'm not saying do it, and I don't think that if it was my first one that I could have finished it, because I got in such a dark spot and I got in such pain that the only thing that was I knew I just had to keep moving, walking, and there was a lot of walking, but I got it done. It's doable, but not very fun. I'm telling you.
Full disclaimer, I was not coaching Tony last
that
year at this time, so Coach Julie did not recommend the CrossFit method.
It was not the way to do it.
Yes, no. So
that one hurt.
It can be done, but not recommended, everybody.
Good, so, we don't want to do that. So,
but I mean, it was a good experiment, right?
It was.
See, and out of that, you kind of thought, maybe if I actually ran consistently a couple times a week and did some like proper training and like specific stuff, that I could actually be pretty good at this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of things changed after that run. I got a coach, and there was a race that I had a wet DNF1 race before, and I wanted to finish this one, so I got a coach, Julie, and we started down that road, and learned a ton. You know, I can't thank her enough, really. So
now he's running consistently and enjoying the process and doing lots of Julie homework too. So
nice homework. So this year, you have any goals this year?
This year the goal is going to be sub 24.
Okay, good.
Putting in all the work, doing all the things that I can to lay it out there and do the best that I can. You know, I'm going to let the results fall where they need to fall, but just focus on the time being in there and being present to the moment. And I think that's key.
So if you want to run a 24-hour 100-miler, I mean, what do you recommend? I always think about it as, well, I need to be running a 22-hour 100-miler, and then it gives myself a little bit of wiggle room. I'm the king of 24 and change, just to be clear.
You are.
I have more 24 and change races that I won sub 24 was Rio or Javelina, but all my other stuff like 24 and change. But so what's the strategy for like a 30-hour person versus a 24-hour person? What should the two styles be shooting for?
Well, I think overall the method to slaying this 100-miler is the same. It's just obviously there's a little bit more of a faster running and moving along the course at a more, pliable pace. But, as we talked about on the course description of the first 20 miles is still not running that like you're going to run a marathon PR, and still backing off. But what might be, the 28 to 30 hour finisher pace, obviously if you're trying to achieve a sub 24, you've got to be putting in some turnover on this section. But again, I still advise, like, it should be about a minute to 90 seconds, maybe even 2 minutes slower per mile than your marathon pace. Because what happens is once we get to the trail section, obviously you're going to slow down. So what would be an 8-minute pace on the road section is going to turn into 10 to 11 minute on the trail, which is still moving very quickly and rapidly, but the tendency is to want to get slower as the race goes on. You get tired, your body fatigues, and that's where it kind of it tips the scale at about mile 45 to 50. This overlook to no hand section is trying to really make the most of that section of trail and still keeping to some running form, some runningness throughout that section. So it's really being able to have the legs in that second half of the race. And there's a lot of time that can be made up the last 25 miles of this course, essentially from the overlook back to Beals. It's relatively downhill, albeit a few little choppy climbs in there. But if you can move on this section, and you don't need to be blistering fast, but if you can move, you're gonna pick people off, and you're gonna take minutes and hours off your time here. But really, not only having the legs to do that, but having the nutrition plan from start to finish. And that's what gets people in trouble, whether you're a front runner, a middle runner, or a back runner, is making sure that your nutrition is solid. If you have energy and are not bonky, you can run, you can move with a lot more ease than you can if you're not. So certainly you can check out our pace chart, and it's a guesstimate, an approximate. You can come up with your own splits, of course, but Tony will have like 3 splits for the entire course. So like Beals, overlook, and then another overlook section, and we'll just kind of estimate times. Like I don't do like mile by mile splits, and we'll have ranges too. And so again, someone running 24 or even wanting just to finish, have ranges, because things are going to happen, and you can always pick it up or make up the time at another section. So if you're not feeling good on section A, you might feel spunky and spry on section B, and you made up that time. So giving yourself some ranges and flexibility, and then the last split, the last 25 miles, really kind of obviously seeing what you've got and really kind of putting the motor to the test.
One thing you mentioned about having some dark times, if you're off on your chart, don't beat yourself up. I mean, treat yourself well, because you've been through a lot. So if you're having a rough time, you're not meeting your numbers, I say just keep eating. Keep eating. It always comes down to eating. On the 100 miler, it's like a baby. Just keep eating. And you can't sleep, but you can eat. So
it's so much of an eating game, an eating contest, and the more calories that you can consume, and everybody's different too. I know there's lots of how many carbs per hour, but hopefully you're trying this out in your training runs and whatnot. But we found through Tony's 100 miler in April at the canyons, kind of what works and what doesn't work. And he brought some nutrition that wasn't working so much, and all of a sudden he wanted something completely different. And so making those adjustments along the way, and again finding what works for you, and having options too. You never want to do any of these races and just have like one thing. This is my tried and true, because I will bet my house on it that day that's not going to work for you, and you're going to want something else.
Totally.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So your training has been solid. That's been going well this year. Injuries are going well. Everybody's feeling good.
Body's feeling good. Where's the wood to knock on? It's,
Yeah.
you know, like so far so good.
Yeah.
The body's
Yeah.
definitely been taken well to the training, and I think that if I just keep doing what's been laid out, then I think we're gonna be good.
What's your favorite section of the course? What would you say?
Definitely from Horseshoe Bar to Overlook.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's you know, it's totally runnable, it's smooth, you can get in a rhythm, the view's rad. Even in the dark it's cool. It's not super technical, there's some little ups and downs and stuff, but it's just a rad place to be. In the daylight it's really cool. You've got
Pioneer
the lake
Express
there.
is really nice.
Yeah, it's cool. So that's definitely my favorite
section.
part.
And you mentioned when you're going from ADO down to the finish line, the hardest part is dodging zombies. If you're feeling good, I still have enemies that I passed that just still are pissed that they were like dead on the road and side. You just pass them. If you're feeling good, you're just feeling solid. You feel like a hero.
Yeah.
You're just like flying and feel like it's a great time to feel good. Yeah, that's great. So good. So that's cool. So you what advice would you give to somebody this is your third vet, as far as their first 100 mile? What kind of tips would you give somebody?
I think the first thing is, if this is your first, enjoy it.
Enjoy it.
Because it's only going to be the first once. Yeah. And I think that it's a life-changing experience to me. You know, I think that what people say, and people told me this before I ran it, it's like living your whole life in 24 hours. You're going to feel every feeling you've ever experienced as a human being. At least I did. And, happy, sad, grateful, excited. This is amazing. This sucks. I hate myself. Why am I doing this? I mean, all of those things are going to come to me. And, you just let them come in, you feel them for a second and let it go. And try, when I get stuck in the dark spots, make sure I'm eating, drinking, and then start to look around and be grateful for where I'm at. Because a lot of it is the presence. That's why we're doing it, right? I think that when I run 100 miles, I'm more present than any other time in my life. I'm trying to breathe, eat, and drink. And it's just a great place to be.
It's very simple.
Yeah, just keep it simple.
It's beauty because you're not, whatever you do for a living, your family, you're just a body, an entity moving across the land.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to work, you don't have to answer email, you just gotta eat.
Yeah, and you're not thinking of any of that stuff.
Yeah, that's great.
And if you're working with Julie, you're definitely not looking at your phone.
Just outed me.
Don't take your phone.
I do. I have a
It's
no
totally
phone rule because you should be, again, like Tony said, present. And there's no time for, texting and posting selfies to Instagram and Facebook. And I'm sorry, that stuff is all lovely, but this is time to get down to business and be there with what you need and the social media can happen after.
Yeah, well, that's what your pace is for. When I run, I don't take pictures, but when I pace, I take a lot of pictures and videos. I run ahead, I get pictures coming at me. Because I figure it's the coolest thing to have, you have the race photos, you have a race company, but have your pacer there taking shots. I love that. I take a lot of photos from my runners because it's cool. It's it's a once in a lifetime. Yeah. It's like having a wedding photographer. Yeah. It's really cool to have all those photos. I pasted a couple of first time runners. There's a Facebook group. You can if you're looking for a runner or a pacer, there's a group on Facebook. You can people post there there's always people looking for runners. You can go there and find someone to run with, which is super fun.
Yep. In your first 100, that was Javelina, but your first Rio, did you use drop bags? What kind of things?
No, I didn't. I've never used a drop bag. It always seemed too overly complicated for me because I'm a man. But women seem to be able to organize it nice and neat. But in my mind, I'm like, I'll just take what I need, which probably isn't the smartest thing. I think I see people really utilizing drop bags, but no, I didn't. I had everything that I needed. I carried most of my stuff to Beals. I had enough water. By doing long runs, I knew kind of how much I needed to carry. I carried as little, but enough. The first 20 miles, and then I, changed everything out at Beals and Rattlesnake and Overlook.
You had a bag there, maybe.
I did. I had my wife bring my bag there, and I had all my stuff ready to go.
That's a good place to put it. ADO. I used to do a lot of bags. Now, as I run enough, I'm very basic now. I try to carry my night stuff if it's not too complicated, unless it's a cold race. But if it's I carry my rain jacket. I don't know. I'm with you. I think it's simple if I don't have to worry about too many bags. Plus, a lot. Like I hate when you use. Do I have socks there or do I have a shirt there? But Rio, I would recommend. It's the one race where I put a shirt in every spot that is able to, because on the rain years,
you're gonna want a shirt.
When it's raining, last time I ran it, I put a shirt in every bag.
Yeah.
And I wish I had 2 shirts in every bag because it was wet. And so I would do it for that one reason.
In a freshy set of socks.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. You know, and if you had to just pick one station out of a drop bag, maybe that's the Overlook, which is, 45 miles and 75 miles approximately.
And cool. Fire station.
You know, and the cool, but have.
I still got having some trauma from that night at Cool. It was raining hard. I went to the restroom just to change clothes. It was so cold and so windy.
Mike is getting all the rain-ish out for us, so just so if you're listening, it is going to be amazing weather on that day. But
it was not.
It has rained, so we'll be checking and monitoring the weather along the way.
Be ready.
Yes, drop bags but just don't overkill it. Like we're saying, just, keep it very simple and to absolutely what you would need. And if you don't have a crew, drop bags are there to help support you, along with the aid stations. And no more than about a 9-mile stretch on this course do you have without an official aid station. So that's kind of the beauty of it too, is that you can, like Tony said, you can pack enough with you to suffice and to support you until you hit another aid station. So there's not these long, times between each aid station. So, we're fortunate to have, 10 stations on this course for everybody.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
Road to Rio with Tony Klink. We're going to run his 3rd Rio under the training guidelines. 24. And when we get there, we'll be live streaming at the finish line, so you'll see the live stream tent pop in there, and we want to hear about how it went.
Cool. We'll make it happen.
Awesome, man.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Thanks for coming out. Nice talking to you.
Awesome. Can't wait to see you.
Okay, buddy, stay tuned. So we'll, for the next several in this episode of Road to Rio, we'll be interviewing different people. We're talking about the course, breaking it down, and then later on we'll talk about other stuff that we'll need to know.
Yeah. So stay tuned, and we'll see you on the next Julie's Jewels.
Okay, bye.
Awesome.